Welcome to Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. I'm Steve Swatt with the Sacramento Report. In the next few minutes, we're going to talk about finding ways to pump new money into our communities for redevelopment. My guest this segment is Roger Dickinson, a member of the State Assembly from Sacramento. Thanks for being with us.
Happy to be here.
So let's backtrack a little bit. A couple years ago, Governor Brown basically did away with the redevelopment agencies because they were designed originally for to get rid of blight, for urban renewal, things like that, and they were being used instead to really help private developers. And so he gets rid of that, and now local communities have to come up with another revenue source.
That's right. You know, we did have abuses under the old redevelopment law. We also had a need to balance the state budget to close a $26.6 billion gap, and since the state was sending $1.7 billion to schools to backfill their contribution to cities and counties for redevelopment, it made it a natural target when we were trying to find ways to balance the budget. But it left local cities and counties really without any meaningful economic development tools. And so I've introduced legislation AB 243 that would build on an existing concept called infrastructure financing districts to again give cities and counties some ways, including tax increment financing, to focus on investing in infrastructure, in the streets, sewers, and other kinds of public infrastructure needed to help revitalize blighted areas or to build on the economic base or foundation that exists in a community.
The money from the old redevelopment agencies has been just sort of dwindling and running out.
It has.
Right?
Now the redevelopment agencies as they existed have been winding down. Their assets are being dispersed, either staying with cities and counties or otherwise being returned according to the law that we passed a couple of years ago. The infrastructure financing districts that I'm promoting will again create an opportunity or a structure for cities and counties to make targeted investments.
And that takes legislation then?
It does. And so while what I'm doing in my legislation doesn't, strictly speaking, replace redevelopment, it at least gives cities and counties an opportunity to find a way to focus their investment to address blighted conditions or to make strategic economic investments in public infrastructure.
There is an argument that if you are going to saddle a local community with some bonded indebtedness, you have to go to the voters and get two-thirds vote, but you don't see it that way? Well,
the bill does actually require a vote before bonds are sold. Now, it's not at the two-thirds threshold, it's at a 55% threshold, but there still would be a vote required, yes.
There has been similar legislation in the past.
Yes.
Governor Brown has vetoed it.
Yes.
And do you get a sense that his mind is different, or this legislation is different? I mean, how do you get past the governor?
I think the reluctance of the governor to sign any legislation like this before now has been due to the fact that redevelopment agencies had not really wound down. There was a lot of pending litigation. Now we're getting to the point where most of the redevelopment agencies have been terminated and wound down. The litigation is substantially progressed to the point that I think the governor now is persuaded that it's appropriate and timely to restore some local economic development tools to cities and counties.
And how many billions of dollars do you think we're looking at?
Well, this could be worth across the state an untold amount of money. I mean, when you think of it, it could be easily in the $500 billion category over time when you look at the kinds of investments that could be made to help our infrastructure in the state and to incentivize economic development.
All right. Well, fascinating subject. Roger Dickinson, thanks for coming by and talking about this idea.
Thanks very much, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers also for watching Local Edition on Time Warner Cable. A reminder, you can see this and other interviews on YouTube, also on My Government On Demand. Have a great day.